What's up everyone, Soldier First Class here. In today's mission, we're going to discuss why Nibelheim will be in part 1 of Final Fantasy VII Remake. There's a bit of information to go over, so stay tuned soldiers, it's time for our next mission. So before I get flooded with comments about how the remake is Midgar only, please hear me out. There's a very solid reason we're going to see Nibelheim in part 1, and in this video I'll be discussing why that is. So in case you were sharpening your pitchforks as you read the title of the video, put them away for now. That's not to say that you won't want to get them out again by the time the video's over though. At the end of last month, the developers of Final Fantasy VII Remake released a bunch of new screenshots, some remake artwork, and lots of new information. From the artwork, we received remade versions of the original character key art for Barret and Aerith. We already received Cloud's key art, which ended up being the cover for the remake's first part. After that, it got a lot of fans wondering where certain key arts were at. Tifa was the most noticeable one missing, aside from Red 13, who hasn't been revealed yet. The rest of the crew is understandable because they're not going to be in part 1, so their missing art isn't concerning. There was also no Highwind in the remade art for Aerith, but this was likely due to the Highwind not being conceptualized yet. A lot of fans are speculating that we may not get Tifa's key art remade yet because it's going to be from Nibelheim, and we won't see that till at least part 2 of the remake. However, there's one very important scene in the original game that suggests there will be a Nibelheim in Final Fantasy VII Remake's part 1. Before this channel really started growing, I made a theory video about Nibelheim and how the reactor incident would be in part 1. This was before we knew the first part was Midgar only, so obviously that theory turned out to be false. But in that theory, it involved the scene in the trailer where we first got our glimpse at Sephiroth. I had thought this was Nibelheim in the background, but later realized it was the Sector 6 crane segment and Cloud was just hallucinating. However, I was right about Nibelheim being in part 1, I just had the wrong location. After months of analyzing the original game and speculating on what scenes are going to get overhauled, it finally hit me. In the 7th heaven, just after Cloud discusses things with Barret in the basement, Tifa and Cloud have a heart-to-heart. They talk about a promise that Cloud made to Tifa when they were children, one that Cloud struggles to remember. In this scene between the two, we see their adult models looking down on a Nibelheim water tower. It then shows them as children and the promise scene begins. In this scene, we don't see much of Nibelheim except for the water tower. We see the night sky, a few rooftops, the water tower, and the mountains surrounding the town. This is going to be our first glimpse at Nibelheim and the developer's vision of what the remake version is going to look like. What I find most interesting about this scene is that this is when we really discover some of Cloud's backstory and get a look into his childhood friendship with Tifa. We also learn that it was because of Sephiroth that Cloud wanted to become a soldier and how much of a hero he was to young men and women of the world. It makes the betrayal at the reactor so much more impactful because Cloud's hero and someone he actually served with became a villain. I think they could really expand on this scene and make us feel the determination in young Cloud's voice, and also got me thinking about some things involving the scene. Tifa and Cloud have always had a complicated relationship, and you can tell from the promise scene that there's definitely some crushing going on. We're going to see their young friendship really take on some new meaning in this remake, especially since they've been emphasizing the childhood friendship trait in the game's advertisements. It's common in Japanese culture for childhood friends to become lovers later on in the story, so it will be interesting to see how that plays out in the remake. Overall, I'm pretty confident that Nibelheim will be in Final Fantasy VII Remake in some capacity, but obviously won't be a fully explorable location by any means. This will still likely be a full cutscene just like in the original. It also makes me wonder who they're going to have voice young Cloud and Tifa. I also believe we'll be getting that remade Tifa key art closer to launch. So what do you think, soldiers? Are we getting Nibelheim in part 1 of Final Fantasy VII Remake? Before I go, I'd like to give a special shout out to Stephen M for becoming my most recent patron. Congratulations on becoming a Soldier First Class. If you'd like to join Stephen, check out the Soldier First Class Patreon, links in the description below. Shout out to Stephen and the rest of the ranks of Soldier. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to omni-slash that like button. Let me know in the comments section below if you think we'll see Nibelheim in part 1 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell to join the ranks of Soldier today. And for all the latest Final Fantasy VII Remake news, rumors, and trailers, I'm Soldier First Class, and I'm on to the next mission. Later, guys.